कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन हे मूल तिरवन चारी हे मूल तिरवन चारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन हे मूल तिरवन चारी हे मूल तिरवन चारी जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण मंत्र की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Iskcon Seshadripuram daily Bhagavatam class, and today's verse, 4th canto, 4th chapter, 30th verse. Sati puts her body. Soyam durmarsha hridayo brahmadrikcha loke apakirtim mahatim avapyati yadangajam swam purushadvid udyatham na pratishedan mritaye aparadataha सोयम दुर्मर्ष हृदयो ब्रह्मदृक्षा लोके अपिकृतं महातिम अवाप्स्यति यदंगजाम स्वं पुरुषद्विद्बुध्यतां न प्रत्यशेदन् मृतये अपराधतः सोयम दुर्मर्ष हृदयो ब्रह्मदृक्षा लोके अपकीर्तिं महतिम अवाप्स्यति यदंगजाम स्वां पुरुषद्विद्बुध्यतां Udayatam Na Pratyashedan Mritaye Aparadata. Synonym: Sa, he, I am, that. Durmasha Hridaya, hard-hearted. Brahmadrik, unworthy, to be a Brahmana. Brahmadrik, unworthy to be a Brahmana. Cha, and Loke, in the world. Apakritim, ill fame. Mahatim, extensive. Vapsiti, will gain. Yet Angajam, the daughter of whom? Swam, own. Purushadvit, the enemy of Lord Shiva. Udyatam, who was preparing. Na Pratyashat, did not prevent. Mritye, for death. Aparadataha, because of his offenses. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhakti, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki. The translation: Daksha, who is so hard-hearted that he is unworthy to be a Brahmana, will gain extensive ill fame because of his offense to his daughter, because of not having prevented her death, and because of his great envy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Daksha is described here as most hard-hearted and therefore unqualified to be a Brahmana. Brahmadrik is described by some commentators to mean Brahma Bandhu or friend of the Brahmanas. A person who is born in a Brahmana family but has no Brahmanical qualification is called a Brahma Bandhu. Brahmanas are generally very soft-hearted and forbearing because they have the power to control the senses and the mind. Daksha, however, was not forbearing for the simple reason that his son-in-law, Lord Shiva, did not stand up to show him the formality of respect. He became so angry and hard-hearted that he tolerated even the death of this dearest daughter. Sati tried her best to mitigate the misunderstanding between the son-in-law and the father-in-law by coming to her father's house, even without an invitation, and at that time Daksha should have received her, forgetting all past misunderstandings. But he was so hard-hearted that he was unworthy to be called an Aryan or a Brahmana. Thus, his ill fame still continues. Daksha means expert, and he was given this name because of his ability to beget many hundreds and thousands of children. Persons who are too sexually inclined and materialistic become so hard-hearted because of a slight loss of prestige that they can tolerate even the death of their children. So here the purport ends. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Dhamayam Tadanti Swapadantiham Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindai Vaneshwari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschasya Deshakarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, once again I welcome you all for Iskcon Seshadripuram daily Bhagavatam class. And in today's verse 4.4. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.4.30. Here in this verse, which deals about the Daksha and his pastimes. And before getting into the verse, let us connect with where at present we are. As we all know, the chapter name is called Sati Quits Her Body. And the third chapter, which we come across, Daksha started another sacrifice. Sati wanted to go. So the Vajpayee Yajna and one more Yajna. So this is the second Yajna. Sati wanted to go and try to convince Shiva. And Shiva gave reasons why Sati should not go. So this is the, Grahastha Ashrama problem between the husband and wife. So how the mindset of the husband should be and how the mindset of the wife should be. So this is even a challenging task even for our devotional life, devotional service, and also our spiritual life. And then the fifth chapter, that is next chapter, Shiva created Veerabhadra. He and Shiva's follower destroyed Daksha's sacrifice and beheaded Daksha. So that is not our discussion for today. Just the next chapter brief I gave. And today's chapter is Sati still went to sacrifice when Daksha neglected her and Shiva. So there is no invitation. So whenever we were attending some function, everybody will look at the minimum requirement is whether they are invited us or not. So that is a morality. Even in the Vaishnava etiquette, we can call, or even a common sense. And then she condemned him and gave up her body. So this deals about why and these are the consequences, etc. like that. And this particular chapter, the first 5, right now we are going to discuss 30th verse. So verse related things we will discuss. The first 5 verses deals about Sati leaves Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva tried, as I mentioned earlier, the Grahastha problem. So Lord Shiva says so many things, but it is a nature of any relationship, loving relationship. Love is blind. People say love does not have any eyes. And we also in spiritual perception. So we should not demand anything with the Lord, but we may have some hidden agenda that this all the kalmisha or anarthas we have. So this is between Lord Shiva and Sati. Even such an exalted position, we know the position of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is not even a demigod, not even a supreme personality of Godhead. He is between. So that is understanding. And between husband and wife, this is a conversation from previous chapter. And even in this chapter, finally she convinced herself, whatever you say, my parents, my relatives, other 15 sisters. She had so much of affection. She brought up with them only. It is so natural for anyone. Even men may progress and then they can come out. But men may have different way of attachments. And women may have different types of attachment, but still attachment is condemned in different form and shape also. And Sati gets cold response from Daksha's camp. Finally, she reached home, and the way they received, few received with smiling face, and due to the exalted position of Daksha. Other don't want to express any love and affection, because that will be the topmost priority for any guru and Shishya relationship, or even elderly. See, we know the position of a Daksha. Daksha is not a ordinary personality. Daksha is a head of Prajapatis, right? Procreation. The Brahma's most prominent job is, most prominent devotional service is procreation, creating this entire universe. So, Supreme Personality of God had given that instruction to Lord Brahma. So, Lord Brahma created, with so much of affection with Daksha, and then Daksha also started following his, father's instruction. He married so many wives, and he is the maximum, contribution to this human society in procreation. In that way, he is a leader for all the Prajapatis. And the Daksha, not convinced, because generally any relationship we take, we have a filter, right? Filter in the sense, whatever I want, I will take that only. So even the classes also, we go to Iskcon and we hear classes, or we hear many classes, but the prediction says, out of hearing 1 hour or 1.5 hour classes, we may grasp only the 20% of that only. Like every individual has got their own, priorities and the filters, right? Based on, their level of progress. Even we take our relationship with, our atmosphere, like we may be associated with the temple, or we may be associated with senior devotees, or we may be associated with junior devotees, we may be associated with, newcomers. Nowhere comes into the movement. So every individual has got their own filter, right? So in the conversation, we would have noticed. So most of the time, we don't want to hear from what my opponent is sharing with me. So we focus on what I want to replay for this conversation from the bits and parcels from the conversation. So we are so anxious about, speaking. We are so anxious about putting our intellectual, as a center, rather putting the scripture as a center. And in Tamil, there is a saying, the translation is, the saying is, Aanmigathil karai kandavar yarum illai. That means, Prabhupada also says, in spiritual life, nobody can claim that I have arrived. Right? That means, no one reached the ocean of this material desires and then reaching that another side of the ocean. Right? This example, many a times I was quoted. Some devotees asked Prabhupada, this Maya is so strong always, sometimes it comes and takes me away like that. Then Prabhupada told, see, we are always in Maya. Whenever we chant, whenever we are getting into the mood of devotional service, whenever we surrender the result to the Lord, whenever we associate with the pure devotees, only that ashana, that moment we are in Krishna consciousness. Remaining until I am in this body, there are 3 gunas: Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna. Then I will go back to my constitutional position. But actual constitutional position, spiritually, we are the Dasanu Dasa. But the materialistic constitution position is, I am the Basanu Bas. So always, my nature is putting me as a center, rather putting Lord or a scripture as a center. So this all leads one to fall into this, category. Even I have attended this Vaishnava etiquette, discourse. It's about 10 days course. So about 15 or 16 chapters, which I come across. So in that one interesting topic, I would like to refer here, Vaishnava Aparadha. Vaishnava Aparadha is very, 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 in our scripture it is mentioned, it is a mad elephant offense. We all know that. But there are 3 levels of Vaishnava Aparadha is there. One is committing offense through mind, and then committing offense through word, and the third one is committing offense through by action. So in this connection, there is one pastimes about Bhrigu Muni. So Bhrigu Muni, we all know he is a son of a Brahma, and this is the pastimes of the Lord Vishnu who gives to us. So Bhrigu Muni, though he is a son of Brahma, and initially this is the pastimes of Lord Vishnu in that the character of Bhrigu Muni. First he is entering into Brahmaloka. When he is entering into Brahmaloka, generally how the devotees will receive with utsaha. Whenever we meet any devotee, we should have that mindset, like, at least materially, the motivational speaker says, the smiling. The smile is the ornament to your face, like that. See, the smile means it cannot be artificial, no? So when we look at a pure devotee or even a, Vaishnava, any level of, either even Uttama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, or even a Kanishta Adhikari. But the person mind should be, I am so happy that I got association of a, disciple of a, or Vaishnava, the one who loves absolute, personality of Godhead. So that Utsaha, that realization is not there always in our mind. You could see Maharaj and many senior devotees, when they look at, they feel, keep all our material puffed up positions. I am a temple president, I am a temple secretary, I am a senior devotee, I am this, that. I have seen many senior devotees, they don't mind to take any menial service. Very humble. So being a progressing devotee, we have to be so mindful the opponent or the other devotee's position, what is their level, and what is their. So sometimes, see, one of the quality of Vaishnava is faultless. That fear should be there always within our mind. Did I commit any mistake to the Vaishnava? That is the reason we are so humble. That, yes, obviously for a devotee there is a forgetfulness. The mercy of the Lord, mercy of it is not that granted. So always we should have that fear that oh Lord, please save me from directly or indirectly, until I am there in this this material world, padanga padanga vipadang. So every step is danger in this material world. So oh Lord, please protect me in every step, like how Prahlad Maharaj so surrendered to the Lord. He is a perfect example for Smaranam. But again in the Vaishnava etiquette, so it says that we should not have association with 3 or 4 category of people, like non-devotees or atheists. The atheists are like Hiranyakashipu. So they are against the position of the Lord, or they are so envious about the Lord. Even we have envious. Prabhupada perfectly gives answer. Whenever we get into devotional service, we may say putting tilak and attire. Yeah, I will come to that point also. Externally, we may looks like a devotee, but still that that anarthas, the balance is there. Still, I am a conditioned soul. So that balance will be removed only by Prabhupada. Keep on says always, you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. Get into the devotional service. One devotee asks, Prabhupada, you are in every sloka, you are relating, you are not the body, you are the spirit soul. Then Prabhupada asks, did you realize that all the time? Then that devotee said, no, Prabhupada. Then that is what our position. We are most fallen, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises, Pranadapi, Sunichena, Tarorapi, Sayushna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtanya Sadahari. So we should feel that I am the most fallen. I am, worth for nothing. But do we have that mood? I don't have. Right. So that realization, how one could gain only with pure devotees association. So that association to the atheist one should avoid. And then association to the pasandi. Pasandi means, externally I looks like a devotee, but I'm not. I'm an imitator. By the senior devotees will always chastise. Come here. The temple presidents will tell, keep the devotee away. Because see, how long, the temple president or, the administrators, like a Lord Shiva, swallowing the poison, right? They have, their threshold point. We all are human beings. We all are conditioned soul. So when we are busting, out of all this, then this is the consequences one should face. This is like a triangular series. It is between Lord Shiva, Sati, and Daksha. right? Then the entire arena now went into vain. It is a lesson. Each and every word of Bhagavatam is a lesson for each and every devotees. So one should have that mood to take, that instead of rather 20%, say some situations we may come across. As I mentioned earlier, there is a filter when you meet, some devotees. We will have a filter, like whatever they say, this is what this is my perception to think. So in that way, two things. Either we may end up with the anger. Anger means immediate. Yes, I whatever you say, I will not listen to you. That is the position of the Daksha. Though you may be a daughter, I put that filter. I don't want to hear no more since you are a wife of so and so. That he has got his own perception towards his own daughter. You are no more my daughter. But in that way, even in administration, this is okay. What is that? The anger and all these things everybody experienced in their own life. And another thing is, it's very, very dangerous. Avoiding or ignoring, right? Ignoring in a spiritual progress also. We have some, like-minded devotees with us, and some team A, team B, all these, this team, that team, I am a better this, I am better in that, I am better in this, that, I know better than you, I know this, that, in every area we can think in that respect. But ultimately, one should come to the stage of, in the previous class also, His Grace Sriram Prabhu was mentioning, Sri Ramachandra Prabhu was mentioning, one should come to the stage of serving without identity, right? So that position, if I do little seva, I want recognition, I want the garland, I want the Pada Puja, I want every devotee should glorify me. So, but you give devotees mood, even if like a small children, if they do a small thing, but one should be mindful. With this example, I would like to say, when Prabhupada came to Vrindavan from US, to understand, the mood of acharyas. One devotee, day one, he came in front of Prabhupada. Whenever Prabhupada comes, then Prabhupada, he will say, Jai Prabhupada, like that. Then day two, same Jai Prabhupada. Then later on, that devotee will get disappear, right? Then Prabhupada, the third day, he observed, the devotee come here like that. He told, yes, it is good that you can glorify, Guru or Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru or any Acharyas or any Vaishnava. That is good. And what is your service here, like that? He asked. He said, no, Prabhupada, this is some, blubbering that, this. And then he told, stop this, go and get into some devotional service, go and serve some few devotees, join with some seva. Like that, Prabhupada was advising. So in that condition, we say only, our identity, putting ourselves, yes, this, and expecting more, and returns is zero, nil, even minus. Nobody else should progress, only I am the progressing devotee, like that. It's not that. And one of the Ratha Yatra day lecture, I hear in that time in our temple, Iskcon Seshadripuram, that Maharaj was giving a class. He said that, see, every devotee is a unique. No need to compare with others. So, according to me, always our mind pops up with according to me. No, according to the scripture, according to the Dasanu Dasa mood. I am insignificant in this temple. I am insignificant. I am nowhere qualified to do this seva. Even Prabhupada in many places he referred, I may not be qualified, but what I may not be imperfect, but what I am speaking is perfect. See the mood of Prabhupada, right? He can say that I may be flawless. Yes, the devotees are faultless. The pure devotees should be faultless. So for that we have a fear. We should have the fear of Vaishnava Aparadha, as we discussed earlier. So that I left there only. That is, he was going. I disconnected from that point. The Vaishnava Aparadha and Vaishnava etiquette. So this Vaishnava Aparadha, I was telling about Brihumani. So he went to Brahmaloka, and Brahma was smiling at his own son. Oh, my son, come, like that. Then he was not giving his face to his father. Right? He wasn't so, offensive or he is not in a proper Vaishnava etiquette. So he reviewed, his father's, love and affection, when he was expressing through mind. Not even a small smile at, his father or the position of Brahma. And then he moves to Kailaya, Shivaloka. So he went there and Lord Shiva coming and, trying to hug. He is not an ordinary person. Whenever we meet some devotees, especially, senior or some people will give hug. Please come, like that. That is a way of expressing love and affection actually. But we fail many a times. We think immediately, the service is important, that is important. You think the jiva, which is anchoring for, feeding that soul. Let us try to feed that soul. Otherwise, why we all, gather here? Why we all, get into devotional service? Why we are spending, most valuable, time into Krishna consciousness? This is the reason. We can purify ourselves and we can feed our soul. Right? Materially feed, you name any opulences. Krishna has possessed already. What to speak of us. And then it's not condemned, but convert that desire into devotional consciousness. And then he refused to receive the hug of Lord Shiva. He said, he used very abusing words. See, you are always living in a mashana, in your entire body is filled with ashes and skeletons. I don't want to touch you like that. And all. He just he expressed over a wordings like that. And then later, what happened? He moved to Vaikuntha, where Lord Vishnu resides. There he did the third offense by action. He went and kicked on the chest of the Vishnu. But this is the beauty. Then immediately Vishnu responded, Lord Vishnu responded, Brahma's son, what happened to your leg? Because my chest is like a vajra, right? But what happened to your, like lotus feet? What had happened to your feet like that? So he's here, Lord, giving this behavior to us. One should have a forgetfulness. This is one of the Vaishnava etiquette. Forgetfulness. So always, fault finding. So these offenses, there are 4 offenses like finding a fault of their birth. Fault finding from their birth. So this also, born in this particular caste or this particular, region like that thinking. That is one of the offenses, Vaishnava aparadh. And then another aparadh is, though the devotee may be fallen, but he progressed, for some time and then the devotee has fallen and neglecting, such a devotee. Marking that, oh, this devotee, committed. That is not the right attitude towards the Vaishnava. This is also a Vaishnava aparadh. And then looking at the bodily features. Oh, this devotee looks, so our material identity. We are giving respect. Oh, this devotee has got so much of, wealth. Oh, this Mataji has got so, she looks so beautiful. Oh, this, person wears very nice, dress. Oh, this person comes with very opulent car, this, that. So not in that material puffed up sense, way of understanding the devotional way of progress. And these are the 3 offenses. Then see the position of Lord Vishnu. Immediately he responded. Here the Lord's first time take-home message is, though we all are faulty, nobody can tell that I am pavitram. Pavitram idam. See, when we come to this devotional service, then only we are pavitram. So in another lecture I heard, don't get into the crowd of crows. Don't get into this materially inclined people, especially in this Vaishnava etiquette material I just referred. That is also there in our scripture. Don't get into association of the one who is more sexually inclined, right? Because they are so materially inclined, and immediately they will get anger, or they may be a fault finder, right? One should have this, intelligence. Intelligence means what? The Paramahamsa intelligence. What is Paramahamsa? Paramahamsa means like a swan. So be among the devotees, then be among, these few Vaishnavas, though we may not be a qualified person, we may also reflect like a moon. Moon does not have any quality of its quality to reflect, but quality to emanate anything. But at least by reflecting, when we look at a senior, Vaishnava, our Siksha Guru or our Diksha Guru, or sometimes we may have a realization. Somebody will tell, Prabhu, that devotee is very, very elevated devotee. This devotee is very, very elevated. So our eyes should be, our ears should be very sharp to hear those things. How come, these devotees? Then this is the true ego. We can also get into devotional service, not in a competitive or imitative way. So our progress, should be important. Not that, others, putting that, as I told, the filter. How Daksha has got a filter, whatever Sati says, no, you are not belongs to me, like that. So even in devotional service, some service, where there is no identity for me, I will not get into that. It's very, very important point for any progressing devotee. So we should come to the stage without any identity. And then today's verse, that is 28 to 30. Great cry arises from the sky. Previous connection to the. So when Sati trying to quit her body, she sat on the ground, she prayed to the Lord. But don't think, this is the point where Sati falls down, or she thinks, this is the consequences, anger or ignorance. Everybody would have come across. If somebody, it is a slowly expressing anger, ignoring also a big pain. Not only the anger. Anger is an immediate pain, taking the gun and shooting. But this ignoring is a slow poison. Like, whenever you look at, like, as I told, Vaishnava Aparadha, whenever we look at some Vaishnava, let us express, some good through mind, like this, smiling or something. Let us express through some words, Prabhuji, Mataji, like that. And at least by supporting some devotees struggling, to bring, devotees to get into some seva or to finish some target from the temple or any festival. Our mood should go on, work dasanudasa. No, it is not my boundary. Yes, we should not be a sagajya. Also, one cannot, manifest everywhere like Krishna. We have very limited hands, that is good quality. But whenever we have a, mood or a time, we should not tell that, it is my boundary. I will not do that. I have seen, some devotees, let me focus on that. Let me focus on that. But let us focus today. Forget about the future. Forget about the past. Today I have come to temple, let me do something. Today I am associating with this devotee, let me do something. And that mood should be there. No, this is, I am a military man, I am a commando, I am this, that, this. All these things are okay. But in devotional service, everything is pavitra. And also we should not be a sagaja also. One should have that, discriminating power. Only the human being has got that quality or discriminating power, not with respect to spiritual. In spiritual, everything is pavitra. And then great cry arises from the sky. And then seeing Sati's departure, a great cry arose from the sky. That is the discussion between Maitreya to Vidura. And then another relevant things. Sati has alas given up her body in anger of Daksha. She tried to convince so much. She convinced sometimes, okay, Hare Krishna. Right? In our many acharyas, somebody, will call for with, spiritual, not spiritual, that gaming spirit. Will you come to me for, this competition like that? So, though elevated, the pastime from Chaitanya Charitamrita also there. So, in one pastime, one of our acharya, he gives, patra, right? Vijay patra. Okay, you are the winner. Oh, I may be a loser. Okay, I'm okay for that, but I don't want to, lose you. So sometimes we say we may win the person, we may win the argument, but we may lose a person. We should be mindful, right? What is the level of my opponent? Right? We should not use some, piercing words, piercing actions, or piercing, mindset, especially ignoring. So when we are busy, we don't know, we may ignore something. So nobody can. That is what Prabhupada says. Nobody could climb in our devotional service or in Iskcon. I have arrived. Right? Everybody, especially those who are getting into seva and administrative role. Right? It's a big pain actually. At the end of the day, it is a big pain, but the pure devotee will not realize, will not realize in that perception. No, it's even some bad comes like pralam, something so very difficult situation. What to do? Did we surrender to the Lord? Lord is giving that punishment or that experiment to us. Still, you need to surrender. Still, you have a chance to purify. Take it in that perspective and then march towards our acharyas and gurus. Then automatically one could not fall into this kind of miseries. It's a big pain. Though he was born in a triangular perception, I am taking. From Daksha means what? The one who has got expertise. No, Daksha means in our purport. So though he may be expert, what he is expert? Whatever the Lord Brahma given, the materially we caught up with that position, right? See, what is that position? I am a head of Prajapati. That made him to think Lord Shiva is so insignificant. No, give credit to others. You feel that you are more meek and so humbler than the. You should have a tolerance like a tree. Do we have? We don't have. So I don't have. I cannot say we don't have. So in that connection, intolerant and violent Daksha will gain great insight for not stopping his daughter from dying because of hating Lord Shiva. So one should not be so aggressive. So once one devotee was asking, Prabhupada, I am maintaining this 4 regulative principle: no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit relation, no intoxication. Am I a saintly person like that? Prabhupada replied, no, now only you have become a human being. To become a saintly person, again you have 26 qualities. What are those 26 qualities? Kindness to everyone, does not quarrel with anyone, fixed in the absolute truth, equal to everyone, faultless, charitable, mild, clean, simple, benevolent, peaceful, completely attached to Krishna, has no material hankering, weak, steady, self-controlled, does not eat more than required, sane, respectful, humble, grave, compassionate, friendly, poetic, expert, silent. These are the 26 qualities. Prabhupada said, to become a saintly person or a Vaishnava, we try to possess this 26, these qualities. But unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, this place is not suitable for following all these things. So one thing is possible. What is that? Strongly catch hold of our acharyas and scriptures and chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So few glimpses about this 26. This 26 is the episode. I referred this 26 qualities, how to bring out in 1 hour like this. See, I saw this 26 days class it is. Okay? So let me try to bring out, with 5 to 6 minutes about these 26 qualities from our acharyas. The kind, compassionate, and works for the welfare of everyone. Right? How to understand this Namacharya Haridas Thakura. And then Thakura was being dragged and beaten. He's so kind, So Haridas Thakura was beaten in the marketplace, right? How many? 22 marketplaces. But even though he's so kind and, spreading and chanting, remembering of the Lord. And then humble, does not quarrel, without false prestige. Sanskrit also I can tell, you don't want to take much time. Humble, without false prestige. Pranadapi sunichena, tarorapi saishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadaharihi. Here it is mentioned straw in the street and tolerant than even a tree. So tree, it stands, wind comes, rain comes, sunlight comes, breeze comes, everything, then all this. And then truthful, steady, fixed. So the truthful and steady, fixed. So here it is mentioned again, Namacharya Haridas Thakura's position only. And even Prabhupada is the perfect example. We can keep on speak 26 qualities with Prabhupada, right? Which is not sufficient to discuss about Prabhupada qualities. It is not that easy. Why even my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapata Swami Guru Maharaj, see, what is his position, from 2008? 2008 onwards, he got paralyzed and, all other bodily discomfort. But even though sitting in a wheelchair, circumambulating the globe and making a Guinness World Record, the monk who traveled in a year, Guru Maharaj did, this Guinness World Record. Following, Acharyas. That is steady. Steady means this is the point to understand how fixed many reporters asking diplomatic questions to Prabhupada. What they are asking, why you have chosen Western countries? But he is very straight when answering to British people. Britishers looted everything from many countries. The most important thing which is there in India, you forget to take it. I have come here to give that. That is fixed. Only many people said, Prabhupada, why are you keeping Krishna consciousness, International Society for Krishna Consciousness? Why can't you keep it God consciousness? Prabhupada told, see, here I have come here to execute my Guru's instruction and whatever Krishna said in the scripture. I have not come here to do any jugalbandi. And then equal to everyone, Samadarshana Pandita, we all know. Devotee's mood should be equal to everyone. No, I am senior devotee, or no, Dasanu Das. That is what. And then faultless, yes. Initially, when we started this session, I quoted this faultless Vaishnava Aparad. One should be so mindful out of this fear. And then magnanimous. One should have that, forgetfulness. Magnanimous. Otherwise, somebody may come, Prabhuji, I did a mistake and I did not notice you, sorry. Some, realization. After sometimes, some devotee, we go and, we should have that quality. Asking sorry and then forgiveness. Come on, Prabhu, I never know. You thought like that. I never thought in that way. Though we may thought like that. No, Prabhu, why this? That is the magnanimous. Or I do everything but give credit to someone else, right? So that is the important thing. Or at least come to the platform. So I am not doing anything for this bodily platform. At least coming to the platform that I am doing for the soul perception. In administration, all these things one may come across, one will come across, one should come across. Otherwise, there is no progress, right? My Shiksha Guru always says, Prabhu, among the devotees, sometimes we fight. Now he says, see, that is, this is the place, like hospital. Some may be a doctor, even do you think, doctors will not get affected by disease? He gives this example. I still remember. He gives doctors also will get disease. Don't think, doctors are exceptional. Though we may preach, though we may, associate, though we have been, initiated or whatever the, progress one may do, but still that, material disease, that baggage will be there. Otherwise, one could not get into Krishna consciousness only. So, and then mridu, and then peaceful, right? So, whenever I was attending one class in Seshadripuram some 10, 12 years before, Maharaj was telling, he was telling, so come to the class sharply by 6:30 and come with the mood that you can attend the class without any hurry. That means one should be peaceful, one should be mild, not that, tick the box. Okay, yes. Not in that mood, right? Sometimes it may go to say when, devotee is committing so much of that, we should list down, we should take a paper and list down what is the top priority, what is the next priority. Then when we write that, when we put it in Excel sheet, when we put it in, reminder, when we put it into our associates, Prabhuji, you remind me this, Prabhuji, Mataji, you take care of this, then this, the peaceful and, mildness will come. And then possessions, say, I have to do everything. I will not give chance to others. That is also happens. One should give chance. When this Ambrish Maharaj, Ambrish Prabhu, Temple of Vedic Planetarium, our headquarters. Proudly we are saying with everyone. And he was in the mood, to share the 100% contribution to building, the temple. Then His Holiness Jayaprakash Swami Guru Maharaj told, just hold, you give 50%, right? God has given that opulence to you. Allow others to contribute for remaining 50%. So like that, the possessions. Otherwise, I may be puffed up. Senior devotees know, our acharyas knows, what is this in section like that. Then cleanliness. Right? It's very common. Even our childhood rhymes also says cleanliness is next to godliness. So here our acharya is putting in this way, not only that external cleanliness, even internal cleanliness. What is that internal cleanliness? That, the soul, clean, cleansing our soul, right? So we have got so much of anarthas. That is the reason, this soul has taken a birth or, this particular, body. This soul is, residing in the particular body. Otherwise, where is the question of purification? Right? This is one of the Vaishnava etiquette, not only external, at least we have to form, Vaishnava attire. Whenever we go, that shows our mood. Whenever we go to temple, in one of the class I hear that Prabhu, he's Prabhupada disciple, and he's so particular. Though you work in IT company, go with one extra kurta, right? You go wherever, just you go with what is it? Rock star, T-shirt and Mataji's, So whatever the attire, you go with proper Vaishnava attire, cleanliness. The need, in Ramanujacharya Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya says the Vaishnava should dress like a swan. That is for grastas, or whichever the dress, maybe saffron or maybe a white, which should have some glow like a swan. Right? Which color that is, not a matter. Dress which we wear, it looks like by seeing, all these things, it should look like a Vaishnava attire, we say, that is the cleanliness externally. In internal, we had a discussion. And then desireless. What is this desireless? It is not. So one should have, not like hotel menu going and giving, oh, my dear Lord Balaji, give me 2 masala dosa, this. No, not like that. Oh Lord, I am most fallen, please save me. That is the only humble request. Please. Prabhupada mood, that is what. See, for all these 6 qualities, we can take Prabhupada as a perfect example. And then self-controlled. Right? One should have self-control. Otherwise, we may sometimes, overdoing. Overdoing also, so sometimes artificially doing, artificially don't commit. Then it is another danger, right? Self-control. So we say in our parampara, the one who controls, the tongue, belly and genitals. One should have, what is it? Self-control. That is the reason Goswami. Otherwise, we all are, ordinary Asami. Right? Swami means master of the senses. It is a quality of a Brahmana or a Vaishnava. And then exclusively surrendered to Krishna. Sarva Dharman Pariteja Mamekam Sharanam Vijaya. So here, exclusively only to Krishna. Why Krishna, you are so dear to me? Like Arjuna, so dear. And then indifferent to material questions. Without, that means, aniha. And then without inspiration, that is apramata. Without false prestige. Come to this stage, that is what, Bhavanam, Janmanam, Ante. To become a pure Vaishnava, we need many Janmas. It is not that easy. Maybe some would have been, near the margin of crossing that. We should have the mood that I am the most fallen. It does not eat more than required. About the eating, first thing, one should be mindful about eating prasadam. Then expert, right? Proper. Expert means what? You tell anything, I will quote from the scriptures, or I will give from that reference from, or I will give the perfect example of our acharyas. That is the mode of Prabhupada. He's like a Supreme Court judge. He will conclude everything with pros and cons, and this is what is there in the scripture. He never bring out according to me. I never heard. Right? So that is the position of our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. See, I can tell this 26 qualities is equal to Prabhupada. Right? And then grave, Gambira. Gambira, I told you, grave Gambira. Who will get that, that Gambira going to, Western countries and saying that you people left something and, and also in the Prabhupada Leela Mrta in 1972, he had come to South India, especially Chennai. And then around 4 days, there are 5,000 devotees assembled in a big hall, and Prabhupada was giving so much of, a discourse about 4 days and, going for another Sankirtan like that in Chennai. 1972, 11th February, if I am correct. We can, in the Hindu newspaper article has come. And then in that, after seeing that there are many governors, many Supreme Court, one of the Supreme Court judge and one of the top businessmen and many, those who are associated with the Shaivites, not even a Mayavadi. Prabhupada, says, atheist. I'm not telling something ill about other parampara. I'm bringing out the mood of the Vaishnava. He is a Gambira, right? Many people criticize, your followers does not know how to pronounce, Sanskrit verses like this, that so many criticism arise. Prabhupada, he gave perfect reply to all these things. And he gave that pastimes of Srirangam. One illiterate Brahmana, he was crying with Bhagavad Gita. Then he gave, he heard from him, why are you crying? He said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told this, how great the Lord is. See, Arjuna, the driver job is so, not in that, any level. But Lord comes to that level to Arjuna for an ordinary person to serve as a chariot driver. Those days, if you are today, we have a left indicator and right indicator. Those days, kicking on the hip, the backside, left leg means then left indicator. Right side kicking is right indicator. So then I remember that. Then I started, weeping or crying like that. That Brahmana, Sri Vaishnava Brahmana replied to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciated. Who told you are illiterate? You are a proper Vaishnava. You learned, the position of the personality of God, and that itself, your quality. And then friend, Mitra, and then friend, and then silent, Mauni, silent. I know, something overdoing. Right? Many are. I have seen, senior devotees voluntarily they will not go, and once you give the taste, then that person should come. Not that I am always spoon feeding. Right? Spoon feeding is not required like that. Many senior devotees thinks. I have seen that. And then quiet Kavi. Once we have to tell something, you should have a ability to convey something in a proper way, right? With like Prabhupada, again, he gives everything in a more poetic way, right? Husband says, the wife says chant, 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 and husband says can't. So when we are hearing all this, how poetic Prabhupada is, and how this movement is so qualified movement. We are very fortunate to be a part of this movement. I don't have personally any qualification. After getting into this Krishna consciousness, we can see the transformation where I was, where I am like this. So everyone would get this opportunity to get into the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Amala Purana. So every word, every sentence is a nectar. Day by day, you can relish. It never, you feel that when we eat any sugar, then it will become one point of time. It will become when we take amrita, right. So this nectar, as much as we take, it never, because the soul never satisfies. That is the reason again and again, doing this seva, that seva. Somebody taking, the risk, so much. So these are the take-home messages from today's point of discussion. So once again, thanks to all the devotees for patiently hearing, this sloka and the meaning of this. This quote conclude Sati puts her body, and here the triangle, fighting. The Daksha means expert. Actually, he's not expert here due to his, materialistic puffed up qualification for the silly reason. When he was coming into the assembly, Shiva did not stand up, but Shiva's intention is not that, right? So in that way, he is not a Aryan, he is not a Brahmana, and here it is mentioned that Brahma Bandhu, right? Duja Bandhu or Brahma Bandhu here, right? Here the particular word here it is mentioned Brahma Drik. That means born as a Brahmana family, but as no Brahmanical qualification is called Brahma Bandhu. We are going to, after initiation, we are going to temple, but not following anything from our acharyas and our scripture. Then I am not a Aryan, and then I am not a Brahmana or Vaishnava. So this is the position today's our position. Though we may get a good position, in Iskcon we may get a good position. You do give this class, you kirtan. That this we may be a daksha in a different. Daksha means expert. We may be expert in something, but one should not carry that. Oh, I am so expert in that. God has given this, and I am, rendering, service as a mood of das or das. So there is no, hard-heartedness here, but like Daksha and also Sati also caught up with this. Lord Shiva also caught up with this, and finally this triangular series, ends with Lord's infection by, sending Virabhadra and then killing Daksha, and then again with Lord's mercy and Shiva's mercy, he gets goat head. That is the conclusion. That is secondary. But take home is one should be mindful whether am I with puffed up mindset with materialistic, possessions in this life. Here, I would like to stop, and once again, I would like to thank the temple management and all the participants and the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis are patiently hearing. Thanks for attending, daily Bhagavatam class. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If there are any questions or comments, welcome. Hare Krishna. I'm saying thank you, Prabhuji. If there are no questions or suggestions, we'll end the session. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. We'll end the session now. Thanks for joining.